Okay, let's start the trailer. We start off with this green energy, and it forms the Gerudo alphabet, as you can see here. The one letter I can identify is a Gerudo J, and the heartbeat is, I'm assuming, Ganon's. Then we see this spiral here, and at the center of it we have, like, Malice pulsating from it, and then there's this spiral green hand coming down and grabbing Ganon. Next, we see Link or Zelda holding up a torch to these, like, tapestries on the wall, and as you can clearly see, that's Ganon on a horse wielding a trident, and maybe you didn't know this, but a trident is like the signature Gerudo weapon. And then we go to a bird's eye view of the green spiral thing holding Ganon, and the spiral pattern, it's very common. I believe it's actually a Zonai symbol, as you can see a few times in this trailer, actually, and throughout the actual world of Breath of the Wild. Okay, so on the left, as you can see, Zelda cut her hair, and in Japan that signifies a huge change in someone's life. And on the right, we can see Link with the Master Sword, and okay, it's theory time here. Okay, so in the older, like, Breath of the Wild, you didn't actually need the Master Sword or the Divine Beast to beat Ganon, but in the trailer, he has it, so maybe this time around we will need it to beat Ganon. We'll see. Few things I want to point out in this clip. I meant to mention this earlier, but the beast that they were riding on, it seems to be an ox or a buffalo or something. That wasn't in the original Breath of the Wild, so there could be new fauna, and it could be a new mode of transportation as well. And on the left, you can see a pillar, and I did a comparison with some of the pillars found throughout Hyrule, and they appear to be the same, and those pillars were from the Zonai ruins. And then we see a rat be consumed by Malice, and in the older games, rats weren't a thing either, so I guess we're getting an update on the fauna. I also could have mentioned this earlier. It seems like we're getting new Lumia stones, or maybe it's the same thing, they just look different because this is what they used to look like, so maybe we're getting an ore update. Then Zelda holds up her torch, looks surprised, Link looks over, and then we see a close-up of Ganon. If we look closely, we can see Gerudo symbols on him. And as you can see, this green energy hand is holding Ganon in the chest, and if you ask me, that's the exact same spot where the Sword of Sages impaled him in Twilight Princess, along with Link's Master Sword in previous games as well. Nothing much else to report. And then we see Link's right arm absorb the green energy. And as you can see in the prophecy, it's his right arm that's wielding the Master Sword. And as you can see, his hand is kind of green, so I don't know if that means anything to you guys, but it does to me. And then Malice shoots up and kind of radiates off this pyramid thing on the ceiling. And then we seem to enter some kind of dungeon, something a lot of people thought was missing from the original game. And if you ask me, it kind of looks like one of these old labyrinths, and since it is not its full form, a lot of people think that Breath of the Wild 2 will take place in the past. That's really up to you to decide. Then we see Link and Zelda grab for each other's hands. Then we see the green energy arm grab Link's hand. Well, I'm assuming his hand, it's hard to tell. Then we see a flash of light, and as we can tell, Ganon has been released from his bonds, and the green arm is now reaching for him. Then we see a cave-in happening, which I'm assuming happened because Ganon was awoken, and yeah, so we can assume that they are underground and below Hyrule Castle. And then his hands twitch, and then his body awakens, and we can see another Gerudo symbol, and then he bursts alive with malice burning in his eyes. Another thing I'd like to point out is that the way he awakens is very similar to the way the last monk awakens right before you fight him, so maybe the way he was preserved was the same way as the monks. Like, I'm serious, think about it. It starts off with the hand twitching and then more of his body moving, and then he finally awakens, you know? Then the ground starts to shake and the castle rises, and I'd like to point out that the original idea for Ganon's palace was actually in the sky. And then we hear the same heartbeats but much faster, and I think the signs of Ganon's resurrection are much clearer now. That's it for the trailer. Now it's theory time. I only have one really big theory that I didn't get to share during the actual trailer analysis, but I'm just gonna let you see this short clip of the cutscene, and I'll explain why after.
There was also a prophecy. The signs of a resurrection of Calamity Ganon are clear, and the power to oppose it lies dormant beneath the ground. We decided to heed the prophecy and began excavating large areas of land. It wasn't long before we discovered several ancient relics made by the hands of our distant ancestors. These relics, the divine beasts, were giant machines piloted by warriors.
Okay, so now think about it. He said the power to oppose it lies dormant beneath the ground. But as many of you know, myself included because I tried it, you don't actually need to get the Master Sword or get the Divine Beasts. I've beat Breath of the Wild without the Divine Beast or Master Sword. But the point is, he said the power to oppose it lies dormant beneath the ground, and if you don't need the Divine Beast, then that can't be what they were talking about. And the second Breath of the Wild trailer, sorry if you haven't seen it yet, but here's a spoiler, Link gains powers, and one of them is the reverse time mechanism. And as we all know, this green hand was found underground, and Link absorbed its power. You see where I'm going with this? Anyway, I didn't come up with too many theories for the first Breath of the Wild 2 trailer, but let me know if you have any theories in the comments section below, and maybe I'll update this video and I'll be sure to feature you. But yeah, otherwise, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks. Bye-bye.